Wonderful. All right, we're live, Mr. Gators. Whenever you're ready to go, sir. Yes. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Sweet. All right, we're live, Bishop. Mr.
Trying to
Gator,
find out how you found out about me.
I found you through the Tinfoil Hat podcast through Sam
Oh, I
Tripoli.
can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you. Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second.
Hold on for a second.
Microphone.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thanks.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
So I found you through Sam Tripoli's podcast,
Yes.
The Tinfoil Hat.
Oh man. There's some there was some powerful interviews there. Yes.
So the first one that I saw you do was about the Boule and the Divine Nine, the Black Mamba and the Divine Nine.
Right. Right. Wow. Did it blow your mind?
Yeah, it blew my mind a little bit. I think
Good.
first what happened was that I saw someone posted on Facebook to put in COVID through Google Translate and translate it
Yes.
to Hebrew and translate it back to English, and that it
Right.
translated to Kobe. And then a friend of mine told me to go check out your appearance on the Tinfoil Hat, and I've been going down the rabbit hole of your shows ever since then.
Wow. I get probably anywhere from 80 to 120 invitations every week from all over the world, man, to be on some radio show or podcast. I kid you not. I can only accept maybe 2 or 3. It's crazy, man, but I love it. It's great sharing knowledge.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to appear on my podcast, and you can start whenever you're ready, Mr. Gators. We're live.
All right, absolutely.
And I got my notepad out. I advise everybody else does the same.
I don't know if you want to introduce me or you would just, it's up to you.
All right, so you're Mr. Bishop Larry Gaiters. You are with the Global Spiritual Revolution Radio.
Correct.
And you've been making the rounds here recently talking about COVID and the Wuhan Institute, the Gates Foundation, Kobe Bryant, Epstein, these different pharmaceutical companies, Fauci, little midget Fauci, as you call him.
There's a lot. And Brother Scott, thank you so much for inviting me to your powerful show. And I've been watching a lot of your shows on YouTube. And normally our staff and I, we pray about which shows I go into. And I really felt the leading of the Lord to join you tonight. I want to begin to unpack for your audience, beginning with the Boule Secret Society. Very few people, surprisingly, in Black America even knows about that secret society. So the topic I want to begin with is the greatest global cover-up in human history, because we are indeed in the midst of what I believe the greatest global cover-up in human history. Now, going back to 2003, Kobe Bryant is involved in a rape case in Eagle, Colorado. Okay, a young lady, a woman whose family is Phi Beta Kappa. So you're going to hear me say some words like Phi Beta Kappa, Kappa Beta Phi. Phi Beta Kappa is the educational in the legal arm of the deep state. Kappa Beta Phi is the Wall Street faction of the deep state. So the deep state is so compartmentalized. So when we begin to unpack the greatest global cover-up in human history, we have to start with Kobe Bryant, because as you said before we went live, the name COVID, capital COVID, is a Hebrew transliteration from Hebrew to English as Kobe. And so ever since the assassination of Kobe Bryant, because that's what it was, had nothing to do with the clouds or the wind or the rain. And so we have to start with the life of Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant was a part of a Black secret society that very few people know about. And that secret society is called the Boule Secret Society. Okay, that is a Greek Hellenistical term, meaning Sigma Pi Phi, signifying that they are the guardians of the temple. They are the guardians of what we call the Knights of the Round Table. Now, there's a very powerful 1954 book that was written by an African-American scholar by the name of Dr. Charles H. Wesley, entitled The History of Sigma Pi Phi. And so the term Sigma Pi Phi, or Boule, is a Greek word that goes back during the time of Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates, okay, representing the lower foundation of the Greek parliament, okay? They are charged, first of all, they're chosen, but they're also charged to protect the Knights of the Round Table. So in the 1954 book, The History of Sigma Pi Phi, by Dr. Charles H. Wesley, who is also a Bouleist, he talks about on page 146 that there are 9 families that control not only this country, but this planet. And he talks about the divine 9, not just the 9 Black Greek letter seeker societies, which make up the Boule. And you're going to hear me talk about some of these powerful Black Greek letter seeker societies like Omega Psi Phi. So all of these Black Greek letter seeker societies began with the Boule Seeker Society in 1904, in May 15, 1904. Now, 9 African-American men, starting with Dr. Henry McKee Minton, created what we call the Pan-African 9, the Divine 9. So you got 9 Greek, Black Greek seeker societies representing that they are the protectors of the Round Table. And so you have 9 distinct Black Greek letter seeker societies. Now, people are going to say, what does this have to do with Kobe Bryant? Kobe Bryant was a part of this Black Skulls and Bones, which started in his hometown in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, May 15th, 1904 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So you have 9 Black scholars who are chosen by the system. Who's the system? The global Luciferian Illuminati system. So Black people like Barack Obama, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, who has that tattoo, that Boule tattoo on his chest. All of these Black men and women, Oprah Winfrey, she's nothing but a witch. You got her girlfriend, Gail Stale King. Okay, instead of protecting the legacy of Kobe Bryant, she is actually was trashing the legacy of Kobe Bryant. These men and women have nothing to do, Brother Scott, with the Black masses of Black people. Their responsibility is to protect the system, as Dr. Wesley says in his 1954 book, The History of Sigma Pi Phi. So you have 9 Black Greek letter seeker societies that are charged to protect what we call the system, okay? Now, here are the 9 Black Greek letter seeker societies, okay? Alpha Phi Alpha, Kappa Alpha Psi, Omega Psi Phi, Phi Beta Sigma, okay? Then you go on to Lambda Phi Theta, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, Zeta Phi Beta, and of course, Sigma Gamma Rho. So these are 9 Black Greek letter seeker societies created by 9 distinct Black scholars, okay, from Dr. Henry McKee Minton down to Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. Now, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois is so revered in the annals of Black history, but he's not a hero, Brother Scott. He is a sellout because he was the one in 1929 that was approached by another witch, Margaret Sanger, who was the creator of Planned Parenthood. So in February of 1929, she approaches Dr. Du Bois and says, how do I gain access to Black America? In other words, she was one of the first eugenicists in the Western Hemisphere who wanted to begin to exterminate not just Black children, but any group of people whom she deemed to be feeble-minded. So Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, being one of the Divine Nine, he was instructed by his slave masters, and who are the Knights of the Round Table that they are protecting? The Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the Warburgs, the Rockefellers, the John Jacob Astor family, the Bilderbergs, the Habsburgs, the Sassoon family. Now, remember, there was a hair care magnate some years ago who died, Vidal Sassoon. He comes from the bloodline of the Sassoon family, who are of Khazarian blood, goes back to the 1800s to the nation of India. They were Zionists. They were the creators of the global opium trade. And especially they created the two opium wars from 1839 to 1860. That's the Sassoon family. And of course, last but not least, the ninth family is the Lee family. That's critical out of Hong Kong. The Lee family is bankrolling this pandemic that we call the coronavirus. I'm going to come back to them in a few minutes. So you have 9 Black Greek letter secret societies, okay, created through these 9 men, 9 Black men. Each of these 9 Black scholars created each of these 9 Black Greek letter secret societies for what? To protect the system that is enslaved not just Black people, but 99% of the world for the past 2,000 years. So we're talking about unraveling, exposing through meticulous teaching the greatest global cover-up in human history. So these divine Black Greek letter societies, they have nothing to do with Black people, okay? When you look at Michael Jordan, he has nothing to do with Kobe Bryant, has had nothing to do with the masses of Black people. And now I am a Black conservative, okay? I don't teach victimhood. What I'm doing here is just exposing this foundation, even before we get into Kobe Bean Bryant, as we are unpacking the greatest global cover-up in human history. And if you got any questions, just jump right in, because I'm going full speed ahead, man. So
yeah, no, that's what I love about you, Bishop. Also, I don't want you to get distracted that my camera is here, but my screen is over here. So I'm looking at you the whole time. I just want you to
No, you're good. You're good. No, you're good. You are excellent.
One thing that you're unwrapping about the Boule, and you keep emphasizing that they are not proprietors of Black society, that they're not in it to help
Right.
push the Black man. I think that's important for people to recognize that we're not in the middle of race wars. It's class. It's a lot about class,
Yes.
and people don't realize that class and status.
But that's what it is. It's not about race. And see, those at the top, the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, those of the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Club of Rome, the Committee of 300, the Hidden Hand. They're the ones who are dividing and conquering between Black and white, where they are at the top cashing checks, okay?
Right.
And so when we look at the life of Kobe Bryant in 2003, this woman by the name of Caitlin Faber, she accuses Kobe of rape. Now, he is sent to Eagle, Colorado to have his knee worked on, all right? The doctor that he is sent to is a man by the name of Dr. Richard Stedman. He is Phi Beta Kappa, okay? He is of the the medical education in the legal faction of the deep state. The family of Caitlin Faber, the woman that accused Kobe of rape, Dr. Stedman is good friends with her family, okay? The Faber family, they're Phi Beta Kappa, and the lawyer that was assigned to Kobe to defend him, a woman by the name of Pamela Mackey. She's Phi Beta Kappa. She knows the Caitlin Faber family, and she knows Dr. Richard Stedman. And guess who she represents today? Harvey Weinstein.
Yep.
But she also represents R. Kelly.
Yeah.
This woman, Pamela Mackey, who represented Kobe Bryant, represents Harvey Weinstein, Oprah Winfrey's best friend. And you know, these black boules, they protect the system. I'm not talking about black and white. They trash their own in order to get a paycheck, as we are exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. So eventually he gets off of the case. He gets off of it a year later, and the very same people that got him off, Brother Scott, is the very same people who took him out on that Sunday morning on the 26th of January, 2020. So then, as we juxtapose, as we go forward, he is a member now of the Boule Seeker Society. They set you up in order to force your hand to be controlled. So also the Boule Seeker Society has people like Denzel Washington, okay? All of these black actors and actresses, black politicians, okay? Bill Clinton's best friend, Vernon Jordan, who got him out of that Monica Lewinsky mess. He's a Boule. They are charged to protect not only the 9 Knights of the Round Table, but they are charged to protect the crab barrel system. Now, one may say, what is the crab barrel system? The crab barrel system is a global structure where you have the black diaspora. When I mean the black diaspora, people of African-centric descent all over the world who are put in this barrel. And out of this barrel, the crab barrel masters, or those masters, or the bosses that own the barrel, okay, Rothschild, George Soros, Bill Gates, okay. And by the way, as a side note, you talked about little Tony Midget Fauci. He sits on the board of the Clinton Global Initiative, including the Bill Melinda Gates Foundation. So the Lee family, these are the crab barrel masters, okay? They are the barrel owners. They choose the Barack Obama. They chose his wife, Michelle Obama. They choose these men and women and transvestites to serve them, not the people. And again, like you said, this is a class warfare. This has nothing to do with color, as we're exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. Because when you talk about COVID-19, it all connects back to the death of Kobe Bean Bryant. Now, in 2013, he is introduced to a man by the name of Jeffrey Morgan Steibel. Now, I've been on a lot of radio shows and a lot of podcasts, and I've done extensive research, okay? Everything I'm revealing to you tonight, is backed up with proof. I'm a historian. I am an academic. I am a teacher. When I provide proof, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm a conspiracy realist. So then in 2013, Kobe is introduced to this individual, Jeffrey Morgan Steibel. Now, Jeff Steibel has a ghost of the past. If you type in the net worth of Jeff Steibel, it doesn't come up. It comes up with Kobe Bryant's net worth. Why? There's a reason for that. So anytime your listeners who are listening right now or will be, type in the net worth of Jeffrey Morgan Steibel, who looks like Charles Manson. His net worth doesn't come up. Kobe Bryant's net worth comes up. That is by design, okay? So then 3 years later, in 2016, the Bryant Steibel Venture Capital Fund goes public through their IPO, their initial public offering here in New York City, in Wall Street at the Stock Exchange. Now, a lot of your listeners, if they can just check out on YouTube when Kobe Bryant rings the bell, when the Bryant Steibel Venture Capital Fund, which now has over $2 billion of Kobe's money. Jeff Steibel didn't put a dime in, okay? Now, every company that Jeff Steibel owns, he did not create, but he took over certain companies because of the death of its founder or because of the founder resigning. That's a pattern here as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. So in 2016, Kobe and his company goes public, okay? Now, on that same day, in August of 2016, Kobe Bryant is introduced to a Chinese woman. Again, I am not anti-Chinese, and Bishop is not anti-Semitic. My responsibility, my assignment tonight is to expose darkness. So he is introduced to a Chinese woman by the name of Cindy Wenjuan Mi, capital Wenjuan, Mi, capital Mi. She started a online educational initiative for children called VipKid, capital VIPKID, okay, which is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. So then it's interesting about the family of Cindy Mi. Her family, along with her, belongs to one of the most powerful Masonic lodges in China. And you know, the Chinese government did not disband the Masonic order, okay, going back to 1949. So the Zetland Lodge 525 in Hong Kong, the Mi family, the parents of Cindy Wenjuan Mi, her entire family belongs to Lodge 525, including the president of China, President Xi Jinping, and his entire cabinet. That's not by accident, as we are connecting the dots of the greatest global cover-up in human history. Now, mind you, Brother Jeff, Brother Scott, I'm not castigating anyone. I'm not blaming Jeff Steibel. I'm not blaming the Rockefellers or George Soros. My job is simply to connect the dots, and it's up for your listeners to come up with the proper conclusion. And so then in 2016, he is introduced to this woman, and he cuts her a check for $1 million. That's interesting. He wouldn't give a dime to any kids in South Central. I'm not making this a black and white thing, but he cuts a check for $1 million to a woman he just met. So then when you look up VIP Kid, she received a $3 billion startup capital from a man by the name of Jack Ma of the Alibaba Group. Jack Ma had hired Kobe Bryant, okay, 3 years before his death in 2017, to be the face of the Alibaba Group. Now, the Alibaba Group is kind of like, is the Chinese equivalent of the American Amazon Corporation, okay, or the eBay Corporation. Okay. And so Jack Ma just recently gave the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation a $14.4 million check to create a vaccination. Okay, and again, I'm telling everyone, I don't care if you're black, white, green, polka dot, don't receive any vaccination through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, okay, as we are exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. So then in 2016, cuts a woman a check, but there is another woman who is the part owner of VIP Kid. Her name is Wendy Murdoch. Well, she is the ex-third wife of the founder of Fox News, Rupert Murdoch.
Wow.
So Wendy Murdoch, Wendy Deng, capital D-E-N-G, Murdoch, is accused by the American government of being a Chinese spy, okay, for the military of state security, which is the Chinese equivalent of the American CIA. So then, this Wendy Murdoch part owns VIP Kid. Let's move forward. So again, I'm just dissecting as we are talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. Stop me anytime, because I'm going to take you to another level here tonight. So then, it's interesting as we're connecting these dots here around the life of Kobe Bryant. He's introduced to a man by the name of Jeff Steibel. Now, Jeff Steibel belongs to several organizations. One that stands out is called the Lifeboat Foundation.
Right.
The Lifeboat Foundation has Bill and Hillary Clinton. They have Barack and Michael Obama. They got Jeff Bezos, all right, of Amazon. They got the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill and Melinda Gates and many of their executives belong to this Lifeboat Foundation, including the late Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep.
So Jeffrey Steibel knew Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein knew Jeffrey Steibel. The question is, did Kobe know this? No, though Kobe had trusted this Jeff Steibel to do the right thing. And I believe in the end, it cost Kobe his life because he was blackmailing some powerful people. And I'm going to come up to that in the next 10 to 15 minutes as we're dissecting the greatest global cover-up in human history.
So are you thinking that Kobe knew too much about Steibel and Epstein and that he wasn't willing to play ball?
He was not willing to play ball, knowing the personality. Now, I never met Kobe Bryant, but knowing the personality, discerning the personality and the character of Kobe, if you burnt him, he was going to burn you. He was playing ball against some powerful people who's been at this game for thousands of years, as we're exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. So then the founder of the Lifeboat Foundation is a man by the name of Eric Klein, who is also connected to a man in Las Vegas, Nevada, by the name of Moshe Greenspan, who is a former Mossad agent of Israeli intelligence. So then Eric Klein, including Moshe Greenspan, created a company called Phase 6, company SIX LLC. They specialize in facial recognition software, and also they specialize in global simulation. So then Eric Klein helps his friend Moshe Greenspan create Phase 6, and there's a sublet company connected to Phase 6 called ChurchX, okay? Capital CHURCHXI. They provide facial recognition software for churches. Wait a minute, I'm confused now. So you're going to sell facial recognition software to churches so that pastors can find out who's coming into their congregations. They can know the background. So again, you're getting into the deep state is slowly creeping into the body of Christ today as we're exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. So then we go from Jeff Steibel to Eric Klein to Moshe Greenspan. And Moshe Greenspan, to me, is a traitor because he is selling millions of dollars worth of facial recognition software to the People's Republic of China. That's treason, okay? As we're exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. Now, people's going to say, why do you keep repeating, Bishop, the topic? I am a teacher. My job is to continue to repeat the topic to your students, to your listeners here. And so then now from Jeff Steibel to Eric Klein to Moshe Greenspan, now we come up further now to the National Institutes of Health and the National Institutes of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, where little Tony Midget Fauci has a patent of a certain vaccination through where? The Novartis AG Group and the Pirbright Institute. Okay, these are some of the companies, the pharmaceutical agencies that Kobe Bryant was suing. Why? Well, I'm going to get to that in 2 minutes here. So as we move forward here, oh my God, you know what? I feel like I'm not going to preach here, but you know, there's such an excitement over me as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. Now, Tony Fauci has I put up a posting maybe a month ago, Brother Scott, where Tony Fauci has this lapel pin on his jacket of the letter Y, which is, you know, scientifically a chromosome, okay? Now, the Nike system, the Kobe Bryant Nike system is the letter Y, which also means the structure of Baphomet, okay? Now, there is a term called solve et coagula or coagulation, okay? That's on the arms of this demonic being called Baphomet. Baph means voice, Homet means system. And so when I was putting up the Kobe Bryant logo system to match that of the National Institutes of Health. Now, I'm not blaming Dr. Little Tony Midget Fauci or anyone within the federal government for taking out Kobe Bryant. You have to understand, brother, that Kobe Bryant was not only part of the Boule Secret Society, he was a part of the Phi Lima Secret Society, Aleister Crowley, And he was also a part of the Theosophical Secret Society of Helene Blavatsky. So Kobe Bryant was involved in the dark arts of Baphomet, of the global Luciferian sect of what we call the Masonic Order of the Golden Dawn. He was also, Kobe Bryant, a member of the Masonic Order of the Golden Centurion, which is based out of Germany. And his knee doctor, Dr. Peter Whalen, was a member of not only the Tavistock group in Germany, and still to this day, but Dr. Peter Whelan, capital W-E-H-L-I-N-G, is a 30-31 half-degree Mason of the Masonic Order of the Golden Centurion, where the higher you go, someone has to be sacrificed in your family. You see, when I teach this, people don't believe me because they don't believe that this exists, Brother Scott. These devils don't care what color you are, like you said from the start of tonight's broadcast. It's not about race. It's about class warfare. They want you and I to destroy each other while they're casting checks, okay?
Yeah.
Let's continue to expose the greatest global cover-up in human history. So the Lifeboat Foundation, okay? Now, as a side note, before we get to Lifeboat, and Kobe Bryant and Jeffrey Steibel, and eventually to COVID-19 and Big Pharma. Again, that Baphomet logo on the arms of Baphomet, solve coagula or coagulation. It means that we must dissolve. This is the deep state thinking. We must dissolve a certain population in order to refill that empty space. Here's COVID-19. We got to dissolve in order to remake. So guess who has those words tattooed on her arms? The writer J.K. Rowling. The British writer J.K. Rowling of the Harry Potter series. Any one of your listeners can just type on Google Images of the tattoo of J.K. Rowling or the tattoo of solve E.T. Coagula on the arm of this witch, which means she is a Satanist. She believes in Luciferianism. Kobe Bryant got caught up into something that he couldn't get out of. And this serves as the basis, Brother Scott, for the greatest global cover-up in human history. And if you got any questions, jump right in, because listen, I'm like a machine here, man.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are, Bishop. That's why I wanted to have you on. You go ahead, bud. This is your floor.
Absolutely. So then we get back to Lifeboat Foundation. They believe in bioengineering. They believe in geoengineering, genetical engineering, nanotechnology, okay? They believe in what they call singularity. They believe in transhumanism and transmutation. Kobe Bryant was giving these people hundreds of thousands of dollars through Jeff Steibel as the proxy for Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant found out he was going to expose these devils as we are exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. And so as we move forward here, now,
transhumanism,
go right ahead, brother. You get ready to that.
Transhumanism and all those concepts that you just talked about, those were all things that Epstein was openly into. Yes. He talked about.
Epstein embraced transhumanism and transmutation. It was in his will that he wanted his seed, and I know it sounds horrific. He wanted his seed to be frozen, to be inseminated into the next generation of women. This is sick. But the thing is, Jeffrey Epstein, Jeff Steibel, also sat on the board, not just the Lifeboat Foundation, but the Edge Foundation. The Edge Foundation used to host billionaires dinners every year, okay? Some of the most powerful billionaires in this country, Elon Musk, okay? Bill Gates, okay? Even little midget Tony Fauci went, even though he's not a billionaire, but he went. There are 2 years ago, Deborah Birx went. Oh, you see, they don't tell you this, Brother Scott. So then, not just Eric Klein would go to these billionaire dinners, the mentors of Jeffrey Steibel, Dr. Richard Dawkins, okay? If you look him up on Google Images, he has his eyebrows up. in the form of a Luciferian type of style. And so you have Dr. Richard Dawkins, Dr. Daniel Dennett. These are atheists. These were the mentors and still are the mentors of Jeffrey Morgan Stiebel, okay? The so-called friend of Kobe Bryant. They belong to the Edge Foundation. So as we move forward here, all of these foundations, these initiatives, these secret societies, now as we move forward, now, as a quick side note here, what type of helicopter did Kobe die in? A Sikorsky 76B. Now, if you look on Wikipedia and type in the name Igor Sikorsky, all right, capital I-G-O-R, then Sikorsky, capital S-I-K-O-R-S-K-Y, and go down to the middle of that Wikipedia page, it will show a young Igor Sikorsky back in 1914, 3 years before the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, okay? So then in 1914, it will show a picture of Igor Sikorsky on his Wikipedia profile, of his right hand inside of his jacket pocket with his thumb and his pinky outside of his jacket pocket, which represents the horn of Lucifer.
Right.
So that anytime you see a man or a woman in history with their right hand or their left hand inside of their jacket pocket, it means they are a high-ranking Mason, okay? Nothing is by accident as we're dissecting the greatest global cover-up in human history. So why do I bring up Igor Sikorsky? Because he had built a multi-billion-dollar company that built helicopters for the U.S. government, okay? And so his bloodline, Igor Sikorsky, goes back to the bloodline, okay, of not just Catherine the Great, but Peter the Great, okay?
Wow.
They were all Luciferian in this Russian Illuminati Luciferian bloodline. That was the name of the helicopter that Kobe died in. Now, we have to understand, as we are teaching your listeners who are our students tonight, that Igor Sikorsky sold his company some years back in the 1990s to United Technologies. United Technologies sold it to Islands Holdings out of Van Nuys, California. Islands Holdings is the company that Vanessa Bryant is suing because of negligence. Islands Holdings bought the helicopter that Kobe died in, not from the state of California, Brother Scott, but from the state of Illinois, the home state of Barack Hussein Obama. 2 years prior, and I'm not blaming Barack Obama for anything, we have to connect the dots as we are exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. And so then, as we move forward here, now we're coming up to 2016/17. Now, Jeff Stiebel, who looks like Charles Manson, Jeff Stiebel, who now runs the Bryant Stiebel Venture Capital Fund, of $2 billion worth of assets of Kobe's money, okay? Now, I guarantee you, Vanessa Bryant is going to take him to court. Every company that Jeffrey Stiebel is the CEO over, he didn't create that company. Whether it is the Dun & Bradstreet Credibility Corporation, whether it is Alto Bytel out of Calabasas, California, okay, or Web.com. He inherited these companies either because of the death of the CEO or the CEO had resigned, okay? This is a part of this. This is what we call the greatest global cover-up in human history. So because you have to understand, Scott, darkness comes in layers. It is compartmentalization. People don't want to think on that level, okay? They want to keep up with the Kardashians, but they don't want to talk about what we're talking about tonight, okay? Now, looking at that, going back to the 1954 book, The History of Sigma Pi Phi, it's worth almost $1,000, okay? People would rather buy a book by the Kardashians for $2.50 than this is how the deep state thinks, as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. So then,
They brainwash us all into being sucked into this certain brand of culture, and to step out of that line, you're weird, you're strange, you're you're not cool. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
really use that to trick people and trap people.
It's a psyop. It's a psyop.
Yeah.
Now, before we get further into Jeff Stable, I've been on tinfoil hat 3 times. The first time I was on, we talked about the history and the origins of Black Wall Street. But I talked about the origin of the baggy jean, that a lot of these kids, not just Black kids, a lot of young kids are wearing these baggy jeans, hanging down their behind. Well, that came out of the 1970s, where you had 2 homosexual men in the prison in Joliet, Illinois. They created the baggy jean, I kid you not, to distinguish who their homosexual level was.
Yeah.
Now, when you look on the Urban Dictionary, keep a mental paperclip there, back in 2016 in concerning Jeffrey Morgan Steibel. Now, the going back into the 1970s, the creation of the baggy jean, when you look on the Urban Dictionary and type in sagging, capital Saggin, spell it backwards, then you get the word capital Niwgas. See, it's a psyop, Brother Scott. Or sagging with a G at the end. Spell that backwards. Then you get G, then Niwgas. Not just G Unit with 50 Cent. I'm talking about, see, these people are slaves on the plantation. Black America is the only group on this planet, my brother, who don't know who they are. They know what they are, but they don't know who they are. So they would rather call themselves 50 Cent, quarter, nickel, penny, Ice T, Ice Cube, Ice Tray, Pit Bull, Little Bow Wow, Little Pit, see, because they're slaves, Brother Scott, on a plantation. They don't know any better. So these are the people who are looked upon as heroes and leaders of Black America. As we're talking about exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history, Kobe Bryant was not going to play that game. Now back to Jeffrey Morgan Steibel. Jeff Steibel created a foundation called the Brain Gate. Look it up, the Brain Gate. Now the Brain Gate in 2013 is connected to the 2013 the Brain Initiative that's connected to the Central Intelligence Agency, also connected to the National Institutes of Health through the Barack Obama administration. It's a foundation where they teach mind control, okay? Back in 1953, there was a Zionist by the name of Sidney Gottlieb, who was also a 31.5 degree Scottish Rite Mason, created the concept in the drug called LSD. Well, what is the first letter of Lucifer? L. The first letter of Satan, S. The first letter of Devil, D. There's your LSD. I'm going deeper here. So as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. So then, Jeff Steibel is not only the CEO of BrainGate, okay, but he's also a part of Stanford University's CIA's undergraduate program of clinical psychology. Guess who is the head of that initiative? A woman by the name of Christine Blasey Ford. Who is she? Remember Brett Kavanaugh? That's the same woman that tried to destroy Brett Kavanaugh when she says, I don't remember how I got to the party, and I don't remember who took me home, but it was Brett Kavanaugh that raped me. Stop. She lied, okay? So then the same devils who are subsidizing Me Too, subsidizing Black Lives Matter, subsidizing all of these organizations are the same devils who took out Kobe Bryant. I'm talking about George Soros, and there's a reason for that. Now, where did Kobe Bryant die? In Calabasas. Calabasas is the 33rd congressional district in the state of California. The number 33, nothing's by accident. 75% of the land in the spot that Kobe died is owned by a company by the name of the Oak Bridge Partners Group. Guess who owns it? George Soros, through the Open Society Foundation here in New York City. Again, I'm not blaming George Soros, but I am connecting and revealing and connecting the people around the life of Kobe Bryant that contributed to his death, Brother Scott, as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. Getting back to Jeff Steibel, being a part of Lifeboat Foundation, being a part of the Edge Foundation, being a part in the creator of BrainGate in connection to Stanford University CIA's undergraduate school in clinical psychology. There is another man that's connected. Remember, we talked about Cindy Winjong-Mi, a VIP kid. She had hired a Stanford professor by the name of Dr. Bruce McCandless, who is now the director of Stanford University's Parapsychology Research Institute, where they specialize in mind control, predictive programming. Okay. These are the people that Kobe got caught up in. Okay. You see, he might have been big in basketball, but when you're talking about, see, Kobe was worth $600 million. That's chump change to the Rothschilds. That's pocket change going to McDonald's. There's a difference between wealth and being rich. Kobe Bryant was rich, but he wasn't wealthy because he was willing to play ball and play poker against devils who've been at this game for thousands of years.
Right.
Okay, so and again, getting back to Jeffrey Morgan Steibel, okay, and Cindy Winjong-Mi. So Cindy Mi hires Dr. Bruce McCandless, who is also a brain scientist, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, as a director of their Parapsychology Research Institute, where they also specialize in behavior modification. Okay, these are the people that Kobe supported and Kobe was connected to. And it's interesting about Jeff Steibel. He's heavily connected through his BrainGate initiative to a government agency by the name of DARPA, the Defense Research Projects Agency, and a second agency by the name of IARPA, the Intelligence Research Projects Activity Agency, through the CIA, the NSA, and the Office of National Intelligence. Kobe was in way over his head, okay? No one wants to talk about this level. And it's so funny. You get so many, these so-called radio talk show hosts. They come after me, especially those who are Black, because I support Donald Trump, okay? And they constantly come after me and they say, oh, what you're saying, you're stretching the truth, Bishop. I always tell them, Brother Scott, okay, prove it. Give me dates, give me links, give me facts, and they never do that. You know why? Because they know I'm right and they're wrong, okay? So if I'm going too fast, slow me down, brother, as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history.
It seems like you're just laying out timelines. You're just, it's not much opinion involved with anything. You're just connecting the dots, like you said, and that's your job as a teacher.
I'm just connecting the dots, and I'm not castigating anyone, brother Scott. I'm not castigating. My job is just to connect the dots, okay?
Right.
So
and it helps people like myself and everybody else ask questions that they wouldn't normally ask.
Right. They ask, there you go. They ask questions that they normally would not ask. And it's interesting that Jeff Steibel was a supporter of Project Pegasus. What is that? That is a project through the CIA, through DARPA, and also through the Curtiss Wright Corporation here in New Jersey, where they study and examine time travel.
Oh, wow.
These are some powerful people that Kobe was connected with because of Jeffrey Morgan Steibel, okay? Now, as we move forward here, matter of fact, getting back to Jeff Steibel and his connection to Jeffrey Epstein. Both Jeff Steibel and Jeffrey Epstein were also members of the Mind, Brain, and Behavior Advisor Committee at Harvard University. Both Jeff Steibel and Jeffrey Epstein were members of the Santa Fe Institute, the Theoretical Biology Initiative, and the Institute for Advanced Studies, including Edge Foundation. Now, there's a lot of people saying, well, that's coincidence, and Jeffrey Steibel never met. I tell people, stop. They knew each other, okay? And the question we have to ask ourselves, what did Kobe Bryant know? Okay, so as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history here. Okay, as we move forward here, now Jeff Steibel. Now remember, I don't know if you've heard of this term Crimson Contagion. Now, Crimson Contagion is a live general exercise put out through the Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services last year between January and August, okay, where medical centers all over the country practice simulations, okay, how to deal with pandemics. So Jeffrey Steibel was connected to Event 201. Event 201 that took place here in New York City back in October of last year. Now, through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Jeff Steibel supported this event. Now, I'm not blaming him. I'm just connecting the dots for you and for your listeners. So Event 201 was a live simulation conference that took place here in New York City, October of last year. Why is it called Event 201? Because on the 201st day of last year, minus the leap year, was July 20th. That was the date on the 20th of July, 2019, that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation registered Event 201 as a 501c3 entity. From the 20th of July to the last day of the year, December 31st, is 164 days. As of 2 weeks ago, according to the live global simulation map, COVID-19 through Johns Hopkins University, 164 nations are hit by COVID-19. Is that coincidence? I don't know. There is nothing random or by chance with these doubles here, man of God, as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. People don't want to think on this level. I get invitations from all over the world, and people are absolutely blown away. They will write me, email me, text me, say, Bishop, I confirmed it. It's there. I didn't know this. Jeffrey Morgan Steibel was inserted into the life of Kobe Bryant to control him. Kobe Bryant was in the midst of 3 class action lawsuits, okay, against the NSAID Therapeutic Corporation, capital INSYS, against the Acorn Incorporation, which both of them own high-tech pharmaceuticals out in La Crosse, Georgia. Why was Kobe suing them? Because all 3 of these companies that are owned under the umbrella, okay, along with 2,500 more companies, they're under the umbrella of the Novartis AG Group, which is the 5th biggest pharmaceutical company in the world out of Basel, Switzerland. And so then, as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history, Kobe was going to sue these companies for what? Not because they was using his name Black Mamba. That had nothing to do with it. Kobe was going to expose Novartis, and he was set to go to court the 29th of that week, that Wednesday, had he lived. Why? Because the Novartis AG Group, including NSAID Therapeutics, Acorn, high-tech pharmaceuticals, including companies like the Pirbright Institute out of England, and including the Teva pharmaceutical industries out of Israel, were lacing the weight loss pills with opioid substances using Kobe's nickname, the Black Mamba. That's why he was taken out, because they could not afford a former NBA player to expose them.
Right.
It wasn't the rain, or was it the wind? They took him out through remote control, okay? As we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history. And Jeff Steibel owned stock where? In NSAID, in Acorn, in high tech, including Novartis AG. I'm not saying Jeff Steibel was involved in Kobe's assassination, but who would be in the position to lose the most had Kobe went to trial? Jeff Steibel.
Right.
See, and people have to think on that level. Go ahead, brother. You just getting ready to say something.
Wasn't one of those gentlemen, wasn't one of the pharmaceutical guys tried and put in jail right around the same time?
John Kapoor. Yeah, 4 days before the death of Kobe Bryant, billionaire John Kapoor was sent to prison for 66 months for lacing his weight loss pills with opioid substances. But he gave the company, high-tech pharmaceuticals, over to a man by the name of Jared Wheat. So Kobe Bryant wasn't going to court against John Kapoor. John Kapoor was already in prison. Kobe Bryant was set to go to court on the 29th. That Wednesday had a lift against Jared Wheat. Jared Wheat is an interesting character. He's under indictment from both the FBI and the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission. Why? Well, let's start with the latter, through the SEC for insider trading, and also Jared Wheat is under indictment by and through the FBI, okay, for lacing his weight loss pills, using Kobe Bryant's Black Mamba moniker, lacing his weight loss pills with opioid substances. And there's another pharmaceutical company by the name of Apotex, capital Apotex. Now, Apotex is a very, very powerful organization out of Canada. Now, there was a couple out of Toronto, Canada, a couple by the name of Barry and Honey Sherman, who were found strangled in their home, Brother Scott, in December of 2017, okay? Why were they strangled? And what does this have to do with Kobe? I'm going to tie the two together. Apotex, okay, had signed a month before the Shermans died. Apotex had signed Kobe Bryant to be the face of their brand, okay, and for commercials in the Canadian area of Ontario. So nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that a month later, after Kobe signs on the dotted line with Apotex to be, their brand, to be the face of Apotex companies, okay? Because he's Kobe Bryant is a well-known brand name. In December 2017, the Shermans are found strangled in their home. Why? Back in 2011, they had stolen through copyright infringement. I'm talking about the Shermans. They had stolen a drug called Azilect, okay, capital AZILECT, which treats people of Parkinson's diseases. Teva had created that drug, but the Shermans had sent a honey trap, a woman, to connect one of the executives of Teva to extract information from this high-level Jewish executive within the Teva Corporation. And now Teva is ran by Israeli Mossad. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I'm just saying the Israeli Mossad is one of the most ruthless, Brother Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, ruthless intelligence agencies on this earth.
Yeah, that's well known. That's well documented.
It's well known. And so they lost billions of dollars because of copyright infringement, because the Sherman sent a honey trap. Okay?
The honey pot.
Barry Sherman said, I'm going to rob from the rich to give to the poor. Go right ahead. You just can't really say something.
No, I just said the honey pot.
Honey pot, yeah.
Do you think that, I know that this isn't the direction that you're going with this. Do you think that Kobe signing with them could have made Steibel and his subsidiaries jealous? Why would you sign with them instead of me and my company?
Yes, that is a great question. No one has ever asked me that, but you. It represents you're a great host, man. You're a great thinker. I think that Kobe was in the position where, because he signed with Apotex instead of Novartis and Insane and Acorn in High Tech, which Jeff Steibel had major shares in. And so that could have been the case. That these are different sides, right? In paradigms, we have to look at this, because this conspiracy concerning with Kobe Bryant in connection to COVID-19 is the greatest global cover-up in human history. And why do I say this? Because remember that there was a 2018 movie, and I might be mispronouncing it, Ready Player One or One Ready Player.
That's it.
Yeah, well, right. So the One Ready Player was directed by Steven Spielberg, okay, who looks like Sigmund Freud, another topic for another day. So Ready Player One or One Ready Player had a character, and anyone can look it up on the International Movie Database online, had a character by the name of Anorak, which when spelled backwards reveals the word corona.
Wow. So you
So
think
then,
that's a predictive programming?
yes, and again, it might be coincidence, but anorak, okay, capital A-N-O-R-A-K, when spelled backwards, is corona, because Hebrew is written not from left to right, but from right to left. So corona, okay, that's interesting. That's we're talking about the greatest global cover in human history, and this is what we call predictive programming as well. Okay, so see, in other words, these are layers that we are dissecting for your audience here tonight. Now, quickly here, now remember, getting back to Dr. Bruce McCandless of Stanford University, okay? He is the director of the Parapsychology Research Institute. Kobe Bryant was a lover of parapsychology. Kobe Bryant was a lover of the dark arts. He would always talk about in his books the muse. What is a muse? That's a spirit, that's a demon. Kobe Bryant was involved in demonology. Kobe Bryant was involved with the dark arts. People always email me and say, why are you trashing Kobe Bryant? I'm not trashing him. My job, I don't have a dog in this fight, man of God, brother. My job as a historian is to lay out the facts, okay? The dots here. So this Dr. Bruce McCandless was connected to not just Christine Blasey Ford, but also connected to the friend of Kobe Bryant, Jeffrey Steibel, okay? Through the Brain Gate, the Brain Initiative, and Stanford University's Parapsychology Research Institute, which they also had taught predictive programming, mind control, mind manipulation, okay? Kobe Bryant would often teach children how to activate mind control of how to get into the mind of your opponent. Kobe Bryant was locked into demonology, into witchcraft. Why? Because he was a member of not just the Boule Secret Society, who they believe the Boulets, in order to get into the Boulets, you have to be sexually initiated. Now, in other words, a man has to sleep with a man in a coffin. I kid you not, Brother Scott. A woman has to sleep with a woman in a coffin. This is demonic, okay? Skulls and Bones does this too at Yale University.
Some sort of ritual magic that they're doing or something like that.
Yeah, sexual magic, all of that. And, you know, and these are the same devils that believe in spirit cooking, drinking adrenochrome. The actor Keanu Reeves said a couple years ago, and I'm shocked that he's still alive. He had said, and it's on YouTube, and it's well documented, that there are spirit cooking festivals in Hollywood where they sacrifice kids. I'm talking about studio heads of Paramount and Columbia Records, okay? And all of these major players of Sony Music, Sony Films, your major film and television stars, celebrities, heads of the Hollywood and entertainment global industrial complex. They drank the blood of the adrenochrome of children for energy. Kobe was going to expose this, okay? Along with the NSAID Pharmaceutical Corporation, Acorn in high-tech pharmaceuticals, as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history here. So the Novartis AG Group out of Basel, Switzerland, they have over 2,500 subsidiary pharmaceutical companies, 3 of which were being sued by Kobe Bryant, Acorn in high-tech pharmaceuticals. And then we talked about Teva being ran by Israeli Mossad. We talked about the Apotex and the Barry and Honey Sherman had stolen through a honey trap a high powerful drug called Azilect, which cost the Teva Corporation billions of dollars, okay? And I'm not saying the Mossad took out the Shermans, but I'm telling you, when you talk about money, when you mess with people's money, this is what happens when we talk about the greatest global cover-up in human history. Now, as a side note, I know that you know about this person by the name of Keith Raniere of the sex cult Nexium, okay? Now, the granddaughters of the Brofman family were involved in this sex cult, okay? So Barry and Honey Sherman of Apotex were members of the Canadian Jewish Congress. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Okay, where they were getting millions of dollars down through the years from the Bronfman family. That's a Khazarian mafia family out of Montreal, Canada, who created Seagram's Liquor, okay, which goes back during the time of Prohibition, okay, going back to the 1920s, okay. So let's come up to this day here. We talked about Jeff Steibel, Jeffrey Epstein, Les Wexner, and we talked about Kobe Bryant, Boule Secret Society, Phi Beta Kappa, Kappa Beta Phi, okay. Now we're coming up, not just did we talk about those entities, but we're also going, we touched on the big pharma. We talked about the NSAID Therapeutic Corporation, Acorn, and high-tech pharmaceuticals, not the one out of here in New York, but the one out and across Georgia, which Jared Wheat was going to be taken to court by Kobe Bryant on the 29th, that following Wednesday had he lived. Now we're going to be getting into another billionaire. This Chinese, and again, I am not against the Chinese people. I'm just connecting the dots, Brother Wharton. This guy by the name of Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, capital S-H-I-O-N-G. Now, he is a billionaire doctor out of Los Angeles, California. He is the richest man in Los Angeles. He made his killing in creating this drug called Abraxane that treated women from breast cancer and ovarian cancer. Made a killing, okay, going back and during the early to the mid part of the 2000s. Patrick Soon-Shiong is a minority owner of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go. Patrick Soon-Shiong owns shares through his company Networks, company N-A-N-T. He owns shares in the very three companies that Kobe Bryant was suing. Wait a minute now. Wait. So then Patrick Soon-Shiong had millions of dollars worth of shares, and still does, in the NSAID Therapeutic Corporation, in Acorn, in high-tech pharmaceuticals, which Kobe was suing. And Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong was a mentor of Kobe Bryant. Did Kobe Bryant know that Dr. Shiong had shares? No. You see, Kobe Bryant lacked the spiritual understanding of what he was getting himself involved in. So I'm not blaming Dr. Shiong, but Dr. Shiong owns St. Vincent Medical Center in Los Angeles, which is the epicenter for the treatment of COVID-19. Patrick Soon-Shiong also owns shares in the Wuhan Institute of Biotechnology, the Wuhan Institute of Biology, and the WuXi, capital W, capital XI, Pharma AppTech out of Wuhan, China, whose address is 666 Goexin. AOXIM. See, all of these tentacles, they're all connected going back to the death of Kobe Bryant. Not just his so-called friend was going to lose millions of dollars. I'm not Jeffrey Steibel, because Kobe Bryant not only went to Apotex, but was also going to expose the companies of NSAID and Acorn in high tech, including Novartis, that Jeffrey Steibel had millions of dollars worth of shares, including Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong. Now, Dr. Shiong also owns the LA Times, and also owns the San Diego Tribune, and owns a 30% share of the San Jose Mercury News. Wait a minute now. Now, remember, there was a movie that came on a couple of years ago called The Messenger, okay? Remember the writer Gary Webb, who had exposed the CIA and their complicity in the crack cocaine conspiracy back in the 1980s and 90s? They found a bullet hole on the right side of his temple, and they said he killed himself, but he was left-handed. You see? So then Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong owns a 30% share in the company that Gary Webb used to. I'm not blaming Dr. Patrick. What I'm doing is just connecting the dots in and around the life and the death of Kobe Bryant. Go right ahead, brother. You got any questions? Let me know.
No, no, Bishop.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, this This is some powerful stuff here. Go right ahead.
One thing I was going to say, do you think it's possible that they could have used Kobe purposely as a conduit to do these things with, run these things through, because they knew that this was the end game, and that him being the connection to all these things to the common man would look so far-fetched that they could do all these things wide out in the open with all these strange connections you're making? Because why would Kobe be in, to the layman? They don't understand why he would be involved with all that.
You are 100% right, Brother Scott. Kobe Bryant was an asset, not only of China that I'm going to bring up in the next 5 minutes. Kobe Bryant was an asset of these deep state devils. They had to present a face to the public that the public could trust. That's why Barack Hussein Obama got elected. You got black people that elected him just because he's black. They didn't know anything about his past. They didn't know anything who he was connected with. But the deep state chose Barack Obama because he represented the type of black person that the public could trust. This is and this is not a black and white thing. This is about class warfare that you said during the onstart of the beginning of tonight's show. But Kobe Bryant didn't know that he was being used, okay?
Right.
And I'm going to expose that the doctors of Kobe Bryant were connected to the Balco scandal of 2004, the blood doping. In the 2003 biogenesis blood doping scandal, Kobe's doctors in Germany and in Santa Monica, California were connected. And I believe Kobe was playing ball with some powerful people that they were willing to take him out. Now, also, we have to understand, as a side note, that Patrick Soon-Shiong is a big investor in 5G broadband technology, including, he knows Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong is close friends with Dr. Theresa Tam. Now, Dr. Theresa Tam is called the Queen of Vaccination in the government and throughout the government of Canada. So Dr. Theresa Tam is also the mentor of Cindy Wing-John Mi of VipKid, the online Chinese educational initiative. And VipKid had fired some American teachers last month. Why? Because they said two keywords that they were not supposed to say: Taiwan in Tiananmen Square. Okay, it lets you know that Kobe has signed off on something that was controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. And so then getting back here, oh my God, getting back to Kobe. Now let's get to China now. Now, in 2006, the Novartis AG Group buys the Chiron Corporation Group out of Emeryville, California. Capital C-H-I-R-O-N. Now, you can look it up on the National Institutes of Health government website, which is nih.gov, nih.gov. And when you go on that site, type on in the upper right-hand corner and just type in Chiron, capital C-H-I-R-O-N, and it will bring you to the Chiron Corporation out of 2006, that they created the first 10 pathogens or strands of the coronavirus. It's called COVID-19, Brother Scott, not because it came out last year. It's called COVID-19 because there are 19 strands or pathogens.
Right.
Each strand, each pathogen has an application number and a patent number. This is how sophisticated darkness is. So in 2006, Novartis buys out Chiron for $5.7 billion and also buys the property rights of COVID 1 through 10. Well, who owns COVID 11 through 18? Bill Gates through the Pirbright Institute out of London, England.
Yep.
So then all 18 pathogens was sold to China a month after the Chinese signed an agreement with the Vatican in 2018. In September 2018, President Xi Jinping, along with Pope Francis of the Vatican, signed an agreement that the Vatican would give China the authority to choose bishops and ordain bishops. Wait a minute, I'm confused. I thought the Chinese government were godless people. They are. I'm not talking about the Chinese people of 1.4 billion people. I'm talking about the evil regime in Beijing who is accusing us of creating the pathogen or disseminating the pathogen, okay? Even though the first 10 pathogens were created in Emeryville, California. So the first 10 were created by Chiron in 2006. So to Novartis out of Switzerland, this company that Kobe was suing. And then pathogens 11 through 18 was sold to China from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation through the Bryant Institute. So then you have 18 pathogens. How do we get to the 19th pathogen? The Chinese the Chinese biotechnology and chemical warfare industrial complex through the Wuhan Institute of Biotechnology, the Wuhan Institute of Biology, and the Wuji Pharma App Institute in Wuhan at 666 Gordon Road, okay? In connection to an institute by the name of the Confucius Institute. Now, wait a minute, what is the Confucius Institute? Now, remember, a week ago, there was a Chinese professor at the University of Pittsburgh that was found murdered. He's going to expose this coronavirus conspiracy, and he ended up dead, including another a Chinese guy that supposedly killed him. So, but the professor who was murdered was a member of the Confucius Institute, Dr. Lin. So the Confucius Institute is subsidized through the Open Society Foundation, George Soros. So George Soros, Bill Gates sold the 18 pathogens through the Novartis AG Group and through the Bryant Institute to the People's Republic of China, to the Military of State Security in China, which is the Chinese equivalent of the American CIA. For what? To create a global pathogen to control nations. Now, it gets deeper here now. That pathogen was released 3 weeks after the China-Vatican agreement. Look online on the Jesuit Review, out of all links, the Jesuit Review. And mind you, the Jesuit Secret Society was created in 1540 in Paris, France, by 7 assassins. Now, have you heard of the video game Assassin's Creed?
Yes, sir.
Assassin's Creed is a model of what the Jesuit Secret Society in 1540, going back to the Knights Templar, okay, back in 1100 in 1980. So in the video game, I don't mean to go all over the map here, I'm just flowing as the Spirit of the Lord is leading me. So in the Assassin's Creed, that is really a man by the name of Ignatius of Loyola, who had created the Jesuit Secret Society in 1440 in Paris, France, with the backing of the Vatican. So the character in Assassin's Creed is actually Ignatius of Loyola, and his name is put on colleges and universities all over the world. He was a killer, Scott. Oh my God, this is heavy here as we're talking about deciphering and exposing the greatest global cover-up in human history. So after the 2018 China Vatican agreement, giving China the authority, not just to choose and ordain Chinese bishops, but to control the Vatican. Take the word Vatican and spell it right to left, because Hebrew is written from right to left. Then you get a Latin Persian word, Nasitav, capital N-A-C-I-T-A-V, which according to Persian mythology was a high-ranking demon called the Lord of Darkness, or the Lord of the underworld. That's what the Vatican is. You have to take words, and the truth is inside of every word on this planet.
That's one of my favorite things about listening to you, Bishop, is your understanding of etymology and how words work and their origin. I think that's really important in this realm, this world, whatever you want to call it, to understand, because words shape perception, and the powers that be have an understanding of that, and they use it against us with gematria and things of that nature.
Yes, they use it against us. This is how See, but symbols are going to be their downfall. We have to, the way that we defeat the deep state is that we have to know what they are thinking. It's not enough just to talk about, we have to know what they are thinking. My job, my assignment that God has graced me and anointed me is to decipher and to expose the cognition of hell.
Yeah.
To expose the psyop of what Lucifer is thinking. You see, my brother, this is the way that we defeat darkness. These are the rules of engagement. But what the deep state wants to do through weapons of mass distraction, keeping up with the Kardashians, Super Bowls, basketball games, it's all this distraction, okay, to keep us from what's going on. They want to distract us over here, to keep us from not knowing what's going on over here, distract over here, to keep us not from what is going on over here. It's a global game. Why? Because they use symbols and letters and words. So my job, my assignment, I've been in radio for 25 years, 40 in ministry. I constantly use words, okay, like the Vatican or Nositop or Anorak or Corona. I constantly use words, okay, sagging or company NIWGAS. That's the words. When we decipher and strip down words, it liberates people. This is the way the deep state has us in a global mental enslavement psyop. We have to come together as a human race. I don't care what color we are, because they want to tie us against each other. Now, I got a few more minutes left here. I got to come back here for part two. Got to come back. So
I'd love to have you. Do you have another podcast tonight?
Yeah, well, yeah, I normally like once a week I do on both Facebook and Twitter what we call these fireside chats.
Okay, that's right. You added me to a group chat last night
on Facebook for about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and then 2.5 hours on Twitter. Oh my God, so many people had emailed me during that time. So they emailed me questions from all over the world. Now I'm doing another fireside chat on Facebook for about an hour tonight. But I can still be with you here about another 10, 15 minutes. But Kobe Bryant had signed on to host basketball clinics. He went to China from 1998 to 2019. In 2018, a year and a half before his death, he held his last two Nike clinics. Guess where they were located? In the Wuhan province, which is the epicenter of COVID-19. And a 10.5-hour drive south to the Guangdong province, which is the 2003 epicenter of the SARS virus, the severe acute respiratory syndrome. It's not by accident. Anywhere in that massive country, Nike sends him to both Wuhan and Guangdong? No. And Kobe visited a level 4 lab as a guest. And that level 4 lab was located at 666 Gongsun Road, which is the WuXi, capital W, capital XI, Pharma App Tech, which is a subsidiary of the Wuhan Institute of Biotechnology and the Wuhan Institute of Biology. What did Kobe know? I'm not blaming the Chinese for the death of Kobe Bryant. I'm not blaming Jeff Steibel, Jeffrey Epstein, or Les Wexner, or the CIA. I'm just connecting dots around, in and around the life of Kobe Bryant. In my conclusion, Kobe Bryant was hired by an online gambling casino company by the name of Fun 88. Capital FUN 88. Fun 88 was owned by the Welton Holdings Limited out of the Isle of Man. The Welton Holdings Limited owned the Tottenham Hotspur soccer team, which was owned by the English National Investment Company, which is all owned by Joseph C. Lewis. Joseph C. Lewis is a billionaire gangster who's on the run from the British government, from MI5 and MI6, because of tax evasion and also for murder. He lives in the Bahamas, okay? Joseph C. Lewis, who owns, okay, Fund 88, the Wilton Holdings, which no longer exists, also owns the Tottenham Hotspur soccer team, owns the ENIC international group called the English National Investment Company. Joe Lewis is also, capital Lewis, the chairman of the Tavistock Group out of the Bahamas, which is connected, very interesting, to the Tavistock Institute and the Tavistock Institute, okay, of Medical Technology out of England, that was created through the Rockefeller Foundation after the advent of World War II. Now, it's interesting, a few months ago, Joe Lewis had sold all of these entities, including Fund 88, to a man by the name of Robert Kraft, who is the owner of the New England Patriots. Robert Kraft and Kobe Bryant were very close. And it's interesting, Kobe Bryant went to Boston, okay, went to the team facilities of the Patriots and spoke to them, okay? This was back in late 2019. A few months later, he ends up dead. Not blaming Robert Kraft for anything. I'm just connecting the dots, okay? And in my conclusion, as we're talking about the greatest global cover-up in human history, okay? Back in 2014, and I'm done. There was a book about Bill Clinton, not from Bill Clinton, but about Bill Clinton. And that book was written by Joe Conason, capital Conason. And the book is called Man of the World, The Future Endeavors of Bill Clinton. Now on page 414, there was a man, a billionaire by the name of Frank Giustra, capital Giustra, who is connected to Bill and Hillary Clinton on the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton Global Initiative. Kobe Bryant sat on the board of the Clinton Haiti Fund. Why is that so important? The Clintons stole millions of dollars, which should have went to the earthquake victims in Haiti a couple of years ago. Kobe sat on the Clinton Haiti fund board. Why? Because he was chosen to be the face that people could trust as a conduit, like you said, to suck people in. This is deception. True deception, always remember this, brother, has some truth sprinkled in it, or else it would not be true. That's deception. Right. So then, Ustra, and another man by the name of Declan Kelly, okay, who is connected, okay, to the 5 families here in New York City, Declan Kelly. They had hired Kobe Bryant, and this is in the book, about Bill Clinton, Man of the World, The Future Endeavors of Bill Clinton, page 414. It says that Frank Giustra and Declan Kelly hired Kobe Bryant to be a part of their sports division called Teneo, capital Teneo. This is July 2014. What did Kobe know? And that is my end of the greatest global cover-up in human history. I hope you learned something tonight that kind of stretch your thinking, so that when I let go of your mind, your mind will never return back to its original form or shape. Thank you so much, Brother Scott. I'm looking forward to coming back with you.
Well, thank you, Bishop Larry Gaiters. I'm looking forward to having you back, and thank you for helping opening these people's minds and just help people question things.
Yeah, it's time to question it. It's time to get our heads out of the sand. It's time to question what's going on, to stop fighting each other because of race. And this is, and I constantly hear a lot of young Black people say, oh, Bishop, I got to work 10 times harder because I'm a Black man. I say, stop. See, again, it's that psyop that they want to put in us. You're my brother in Christ, Brother Scott. I don't look at you as white. You don't look at me as Black. We are Americans. We're brothers in Christ. And so why? Because we are not going to allow these Luciferian deep state devils to control us. And like you said before, they used Kobe Bryant as a conduit. They pimped Kobe Bryant financially, socially. That's what they did.
Something I'd love to talk to you about next time, and I know you got to go, but do you think it's do you think it's an accident that the biggest Black secret society and probably the most prominent Black actor are from the same city, Will Smith?
Wow, I never thought about that. That is interesting. You know what? Wow, man, that's a big wow moment. That I never connected Will Smith to, as far as Boulet's, the Boulet Secret Society in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Remember one of the first movies that Will Smith played in, 6 Degrees of Separation. In that movie, he was caught in bed with another man. See, this is the initiation. In order to be in that $20 million club in Hollywood, a man has to sleep with a man, a woman has to sleep with a woman. Now, there's people on Facebook, online saying, oh, I don't believe it. See, they got their heads buried in their TV dinners, and they got their heads buried in keeping up with the Kardashians, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and running after Snoop Dogg, Ice-T, Ice Cube, Ice Tray, Pitbull. See, that's slave mentality, okay?
Right.
Because they don't know who they are. But Will Smith is also a part of the Boulay Secret Society, okay? Will Smith was buck broken. That's a term I use on San Tripoli show.
Yeah.
Buck broken. You say breaking. So that's that butt breaking. And next time when I come back on the Not So podcast, I'm going to break down the history of butt breaking, where during the slave trade, going back to the 1600s, there was a slave master by the name of Willie Lynch. And this is where we get the term lynching from, okay? Willie Lynch taught the slave owners in the South, but more specifically in the state of Virginia, to strip down male slaves or female slaves that they could not control. So Black slaves, men and women who could not be controlled, were sent to the Caribbean. We're talking about Jamaica, St. Martinique, and Cuba, and the Bahamas. They would strip these men and women down, put them down on the ground chest first, and the slave master would molest them in front of their families.
Oh, wow.
This is what's happening today to Black Hollywood. LeBron James, butt broken psychologically, okay? They want Kobe Bryant and his daughter. They want what they do. Will Smith, buck broken. The basketball player who is retired now, Dwyane Wade, okay?
Yeah.
Dwyane Wade, there is a picture of him. If your listeners type online, Dwyane Wade misunderstood LGBTQ communities. Dwyane Wade misunderstood LGBTQ communities. I believe that's on the Business Journal or the BusinessReview.com. Anyway, it shows his hair in braids, and his hair that's in braids is in the form of miniature pyramids.
And
those miniature pyramids,
it's the spiral.
Yes. Those miniature pyramids are the exact same symbols that the FBI put out a few years ago that the underground pedophilia network uses. Why would Dwyane Wade have his hair braided in that fashion? He's been buck broken. Now his son Zion is called Zaya. You see?
Yeah. Do you think that's part of MK Ultra kind of?
Yes. It's MK Ultra. Look at Magic Johnson said they're all turned out.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They're all turned out. They're coming out of the closet, but they're still stuck in the closet because God never intended a man to marry another man and a woman to marry another woman. I keep saying it's Adam and Eve and not Adam and Deacon Stevie. It's Eve and Adam and not Eve and Ellen DeGenerate. Okay?
Yeah.
And this is the greatest global cover-up in human history. Brother Scott, thank you for allowing me to come on the Not So, what's it called? The Not So podcast?
This is not a podcast.
It's not a podcast. And I kept asking you, what's the name of it? It's not a podcast. What's the name of it? But thank you so much. God bless you, my brother. And let's set something up that I can come back for part 2, amen, of the greatest global cover-up in human history. And I hope and pray that you learned something today, and we're looking forward to coming back and gracing your program.
Well, thank you so much, Bishop. And I'll shoot you all the links for this too. Do you want to tell everybody your social media, your PayPal, and stuff like that before you go?
Absolutely. They can check me out on Twitter. My Twitter Twitter handle is at Bishop L. Gaiters. That's Gaiters at Bishop L. Gaiters, Gaiters. And go on Facebook. And I still got to accept your Facebook friendship that you sent out. I got to connect with you on Facebook. Same handle, Bishop L. Gaiters, Facebook.com, Bishop L. Gaiters. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Global Spiritual Revolution Radio, Global Spiritual Revolution Radio. And last but never least, and go to liferadionj.com, liferadionj.com/Gaiters. And with your permission, Scott, if your listeners want to get financially into the global assignment of Global Spiritual Revolution Radio, please go to paypal.me/GSRR Media Group. Again, paypal.me/GSRR Media Group. paypal.me/GSRR Media Group. Thank you so much, Brother Scott, and God bless you, sir.
God bless you. You enjoy your fireside chat tonight, sir.
I will. Thank you, sir. And I believe you're in the state of Virginia. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. God bless you. In the state of Virginia, I often go down to Virginia Beach and Suffolk and Norfolk, Virginia. Got friends down there. So God bless you, man. God bless you and your ministry there. You're doing a great job, man. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you, Bishop. You have a good night, sir.
You too, sir. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.